you want. Just take it any way you want.
I love that. Well, welcome everybody. Today we have Terri Cowan with us. She's one of the salon industry's leading and most respected speakers and trainers. She's got, she's just so much knowledge within the industry that doing an introduction for her myself just does not do it justice, because she's had such experience in all aspects of the salon world, from distributorship to school ownership. She's had so much customer experience before all of that even happened. And when you get to know her like Tina and I do, you will instantly fall in love with her. So welcome, Terri.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. What an honor to spend time with both of you.
So let's start a little bit about your background. I know that you were in the restaurant industry. We hear about that. And you relate it so well to the experience within the salon world. And
oh my gosh, they're exactly the same, Sean. I mean, the hairdresser is the waitress or the server. The busboy is the cleansing technician if you have an assistance program, and the hostess is the receptionist. Exactly the same moving parts, same personalities, same discoveries. It's exactly the same. So when I came into the beauty industry, I said, oh my gosh, it's just a different product, but the steps of the service are very, very similar. And I think everyone on this call that's going to listen has had a wonderful dining experience, and people that have had less than thrilling dining experiences. And it's making sure that you create an environment where the guest feels comfortable and they want to return because of how great they felt in your hands of service. And skillful hands and skillful words and skillful listening and skillful heart are all necessary for you to deliver at that extraordinary level. And so I love talking about this. In fact, that's what we're talking about in the theater right next door today, is how do we make ourselves stand apart and ahead of time. My best example of that is, there's so many times I go to a restaurant now and I'll say, oh, how did I not think of that? Because I considered myself a service fanatic. So when someone else hits that mark for me, I go, oh, that's wonderful. I remember the first time I went to Starbucks through the drive-through, and most businesses that are drive-through, like McDonald's, will say, have your money ready. They're all about speed, right? Not a great experience, man. They're about speed. Have your money ready, pay, get out, pick your order up, go. And but at Starbucks, what did they say? You order. I don't even know how to order there because it's not mine. Steve goes there twice a day, I think. But when the first time I went through and they said, see you at the window, I said, okay. And I was so excited. That little verbiage set them apart from other companies that could have done it and chose not to. They decided, how do we make that guest feel welcome, even though they're not walking inside? And that's what making that boat go faster in service is absolutely key. I think about the areas of what you need to do to create enhancements in your business so your guests feel like they're in good hands. Am I going too fast? Did I jump too fast? Okay. The first one is, what services are you currently not doing that your guests need you to do? What services? And service doesn't always mean a product line or something new on your menu. It could be the way we say hello. I was at a salon in Davenport, Iowa last week, and it's called Bella. The woman's side's called Bella and the men's side is called Bello, and they have their own entrances. And they said, we don't like the way we say hello. We're like, hey, hi, nice to see you. And I said, why not say ciao Bella when they come in, or ciao Bello? Even that is a service enhancement because you have a commitment to your greeting. So services doesn't always mean you have to spend money or it has to be a launch of some kind. It can be a commitment to something we're going to say to our guests. Another service enhancement could be at the shampoo bowl before we get started. We're going to feature a scent, a relaxing scent this month. This is our signature scent this month. And we're going to create an opening ritual where you take 2 deep breaths of before this shampoo starts. It's an opening ritual to start the service. Even that takes about 5 seconds, but we're going to set ourselves apart. So that's a service enhancement. And how often are service enhancements needed? The next one are systems enhancements. What systems need to be in place to allow our guests to move very smoothly throughout the business, have our staff move smoothly with each other? How does the dispensary look? That could be an enhancement of a system. How is our color organized? Is it telling a good story? Does it say we're celebrating color at the color bar? All those could be system enhancements. People think I say systems like it's a software. No, it's systems are the steps to do what we do so the guests can enjoy our business with ease. The next one is our people enhancements. What do we have to do for our people, whether it's training and development, teaching them how to walk properly throughout the salon, how to speak, how to do a professional pass off with a guest or with a teammate. All those are people enhancements on top of the obvious one, which is technical work, but everything else is how they speak and how they carry themselves. And the next one is facility. What facility enhancements are necessary for us to keep the business moving at a nice pace? For example, I have encouraged a lot of people, especially busy salons that are still trying to serve a beverage to their guests, to create an open beverage concept so the guests can service themselves. So we're maintaining one area versus 20 guests at a time. And so that is a nice way to say this is a facility enhancement that's going to complement our services and complement our systems. And then during COVID, we added safety. What were our safety commitments to our guests? Because I've never thought in my lifetime I would have a safety category. Oop, I just lost my headset. And I thought, how do we put that in? And you know what, when people say, I don't have time to make these changes, wasn't it funny how we all found time to make our COVID changes? Right? So if it's important or it's mandated or there's a true commitment to it, people can get it done. And so when we're working on those, another one could be what's the noise that enhancements we're making, our social footprint. Is it all about, like I just said to the group out there, I'm sorry referring to them, but I'm kind of in that mode too. Most of what I see in social media has everything to do with the back of the head and the hair that they did. Yeah. Why isn't there a message about why you got in the industry? Why isn't there a message about this is the best decision I ever made? Why isn't it about you doing a consultation or welcoming ritual or other things in our salon you get to enjoy? Why isn't there a tour of the salon? Why aren't we taking advantage of all the pro sites that are out there? Social media is not just about hair. So your noise can be a huge enhancement for yourself too. All right, I'm done on that. What's the next question?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could totally see where a salon owner could sit down with their team and just have posters for every single one of these. You know, what don't we have? What's not in writing in our salon business? So this is huge. We actually have our team leaders are doing a class tomorrow for our brand new team members. And one of the struggles that we're having, and then the salons that we're coaching are having this as well, is getting their stylists to start taking clients quicker. And so we know COVID kind of slowed things up just a little bit, right? And so we're kind of back to square one. And, you know, because most of the salons that or all of the salons, I should say, that we coach, Terri, are W-2 employee-based salons. So they pay either an hourly or a commission. And obviously, of course, the quicker that you can pay commission and not hourly, the better off your business strategy is. So what do you think should be happening within the salons in order to get them up and running, because that's something that'll bog a salon down. It'll destroy that net profit. It'll put you out of business if you have too many staff members. Let's talk about the business strategy of a salon, of what that should look like.
Well, there's a couple of things I'm thinking about. Number one, do you consider yourself a training salon, like a training hospital or a teaching hospital, a teaching salon? And if that's the case, you better embrace this category with everything you've got. You might want to create modules, 4 different modules. Let's say the first one is all about the tour, the shampoo, the consultation. You're going to learn how we think. And that's really big. Even when someone starts here at PSC, I say, I know you have a background and we can't wait to enjoy the knowledge from your background. But at first, I want you to learn how we think here. That's your number one, not to impress us with what you know, but impress us with what you're willing to learn about us right now. The other thing is having them, once they are certified in a service, have them start in doing that service, start doing the tours of the salon, start doing consultations with a teammate, start doing that shampoo and being able to be exposed to upselling the menu in the shampoo or the wash house. Reason I say that is, left to their own device, people will stand back and watch. And then some salons don't let you do anything alone until you're ready to go on the floor. I don't believe in that. I believe that you've got to get their toe in the water, right? Is it cold? Yes, it's freezing. Remember when we would go swimming, we all do the same thing. We put our toe in, we look at someone else and say, is it cold? And if someone's in the water already, what do we say? How is it? And they say, it's cold when you get in, you get used to it right away. Exactly what training and development is. It's going to be cold, but once you get in, you're going to get used to it, and we're going to help you get used to it. We're not going to let you fail. So there's a couple of things. Once I'm qualified to do a service, we're going to give you that responsibility. We're going to give you that. Now, I might be assigned to Tina. I might do all Tina's shampoos. I might do all Tina's consultations with her, but it's creating confidence.
Yeah.
I was taught a school last week. 30 kids were in here with me for 3 hours, and I had the tears and everything afterwards, and came over and something Tina, I think you and Sean are going to enjoy hearing this, but both of them said to me, I'm crying because I have no confidence. And maybe it's time to create a confidence club at all of our schools for people that they're not afraid to do the haircut. They're afraid to say their name out loud, right? And they have no presence because there's no confidence. And a confidence club is, I think it's because they don't trust themselves. You know, what happens if someone's watching me? I said, they really don't care. I mean, I'm old enough to know that no one gives a rat's behind about anyone. We think they do, but they don't. They're not looking at you. They're looking at themselves. But it's easier said than done. So when we're training and developing to get people ready, we have to make sure we gave them enough at bats. You have already done 50 shampoos for me, the way we do it here. You've already done 110 consultations with me. You've already done 47 touch-ups for me, and quantify what they've done. Quantify it so they know this is how much we've trusted you during this process. You're ready to go.
So good. I love that. Yeah, I feel like that's the missing link right now is confidence. You're right. And even when we look at some of our stylists that are just newer, you know, in our salons as well, and maybe even some of our learning leaders that are brand new, right? And so I love this so much. And what do you see happening that needs to happen in the salons in order to create that training? Like what specifically advice would you give?
Well, we have a double-edged sword here. I want, you know, being a trainer is a gift. And some people do it really well, and some people look at it as a burden. Some people, I always took it as a compliment. Some people say, like, if I'm doing this, I need to be paid more to do it. You know, that's the wrong attitude. We're building a team here, right? And I think when you're a leader in the business, you have a responsibility to create more individuals with success. If you look at You know, Tina, you and I always talk about sports. When you look at right now, training camps are all going back, right? The rookies were called in first for a reason, to teach them how the program thinks. And then you bring in the experienced people, and those people are going to show up as leaders and telling that rookie, this is what you need to do, rookie. You're now in the pros, right?
Right.
That's kind of what we're like here.
Mhm.
This is the reality. Now, here's the problem. We make it sound easy because once we have a relationship with people, it is easy, right? It's when they have no stories, they have no customers, no one likes them, no one calls them by name, they feel like a misfit. We have to bridge the gap of multiple relationships very quickly, and the staff needs to know, I'm going to introduce Terri to every customer today as we build her confidence in the business. We don't treat her as someone that stands there and the customers say, who's that over there?
Right.
Right? Who's that over there? Oh, that's the new girl. Is she
Mhm.
good? We don't know yet. Jury's out. No,
Yeah.
this is our new addition. Allow me to introduce you. Please help her feel comfortable. We're excited for her to join us. Now, going back to those modules, if you have 4 modules, let's say the first one was what I mentioned about doing maybe the shampoo, the consultation, the tours of the salon. The second one might be all of our coloring touch-ups. And then when they're qualified to do a touch-up, which is one of the easiest services to do, I'm told, because I'm not a hairdresser, then
Mhm.
we allow them to start doing touch-ups for Tina,
Mhm.
right? And Tina can
Exactly.
inspect and look at that work. And you know, when you have that, does that mean that they get paid? No, this is part of the learning process. We are a teaching salon. Now,
Mhm.
Tina could love it. Tina could hate it. And you have to ask your staff, this is what we need from our trainers. If you can't deliver it, then we don't want you in that role.
Mm.
I loved it. And I used to say to my trainees, you two will laugh because you know me better, but I used to say to a trainee when I was developing a server, if I look up, you better be on my heels. If you're not on my heels, you're not in the right place. I'm teaching the footprints of the restaurant, where to be to maximize potential and expedite your movement about the restaurant to bring value. And so if I see you and you're not with me, you have a problem. Because I'm teaching you how to think. And then I teach them, where do I need to be next? And they'd say, you need to be in the bar to pick up the drinks. Perfect. Where do I need to go now? Here. By teaching them how to think up front, taught them how to think out loud. Does that make sense? So they'd say, I think you need to be in the bar. Make a statement to me. You need to be in the bar. Good. You need to be on the hot food line right now, picking up an order. Good. You need to run food for other employees. Good. And I could complement their decision-making as is, but man, they were stuck to me for 2 weeks, absolute 2 weeks. Now, does it take longer to get a hairdresser ready? Sure it does. But if someone's absolutely committed to them, can we expedite that and get them out there faster? Yes. If we're treating them like extra labor to do towels and sweep, it's going to take you a long time to get them ready.
Yeah.
Mhm. I always love your viewpoints on everything. What shifts have you seen in salons that are successful and made it through COVID? Because unfortunately, some did not. So, like you mentioned, we had to put in there safety. Who would have ever thought that that would have been part of the salon world? We have to think about that. So, what shifts have you seen of in those top 10 salons? Obviously, you and Steve own just a distribution, so you know what salons are really doing right now.
I think the biggest thing I've been coaching throughout is we know that after COVID, the guest was going to stretch out their service times, right?
Mhm.
So instead of maybe every 6 weeks, maybe I'll get a haircut every 8, maybe I'll try to stretch out my color. But during this time, the top salons, we really encourage them to manage their traffic, manage the traffic of their salon. How many guests are allocated per service provider? A lot of people worked less hours. So when they came back from COVID, they used to work 40 hours. Now they're going to 30. Well, you can't do the same amount of customers in 30 hours that you were able to do in 40. So we've got to turn some guests over. managing the traffic and knowing what capacity is for someone. Can I go to the whiteboard at all? Am I allowed? No, I'm not allowed. Okay. So when I look at that, let's do some easy math. Let's do 40 hours a week I'm working times 50 weeks. That's 2,000 service hours I'm doing this year. 2,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I want guests to come in of those 10 service, those 2,000 hours, how many times do the guests come in? And let's say they come in 10 times a year. Let's do it for easy math. That means I need 200 guests to be completely scheduled, right? Now, Terri Cowan gets color every 3 weeks. So I'm 18 times a year and I'm 9 times a year for a haircut. That's just me. But do you know that about your guest traffic? Do you know your capacity? Most salons only manage the schedule and the appointment book. They don't manage their traffic. And so one of the things that you need to know is when are you at capacity to know that I have 200 guests and I'm not accepting more guests at this time, because I'm completely, if I do my job right, I'm completely committed. If I wait for the guest to call, I'm going to have openings. Does that make sense? So what happens if there's room for 200 to be seen 10 times a year, which is a fair. And if I want to take it to 8 times a year, maybe I go up to 240 customers. But what happens if I look at the schedule of my staff and I look at their client history, and I've got 400 people allocated to this hairdresser where there's only room for 240. Here's what the front desk is saying over and over again. She doesn't have availability. She doesn't have availability. She doesn't have availability. You could be pushing customers out at the same rate you're bringing customers in. So you need to know capacity and guest count of every service provider in the salon, so you know if you're not stretching your service commitment beyond its means.
I love that. When you think of, and I think that that's something that we see that's common in the industry, is that people don't necessarily know their capacity, and they
Absolutely not.
Right.
And they manage their books on a day-to-day basis. So what advice would you give? Let's kind of talk to the salon manager more so, and even the stylist, of when they feel their capacity is, because they look at this week, maybe 2 weeks out, but they're not thinking 200 guests.
No, well, I don't want to talk about the schedule. I want to talk about guest allocated. And if we flip that a little bit right now, because all they want to do is look at next week or today. And remember, if I have 340 guests in a room that's meant for 240, I've created a problem for myself. And I don't know why. Why hasn't Jane Doe come back? Why? Well, you pushed her out.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing is, what was I going to say on this? Oh, so when someone came back from COVID and wanted to work 10 hours less, and we didn't look at their guest count base, we've already created a breach in service. We should have said, okay, Tina, I'm okay. I'm going to approve you working 30. And based on this, you need to give me 50 customers that I'm turning over to someone else. Well, I don't want to lose any customers. Well, then you're not working less hours.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
See how that works?
That's so good. What a different way to look at it, for sure. And I think that's huge for especially our managers to really look at these numbers and sit down. So what advice do you give? Something we've been kind of talking about is, let's say we do have some stylists, which we do have more than 200 customers. And so they're kind of what we call our master stylists, they're at about 300. So what would be your suggestion to be able to have them, some of the newer stylists, take some of those clients? Like, what is your suggestion to be able to start to and talk to that leader right now about how that's so important for your business strategy?
Well, I would really encourage once a quarter to do an analysis of guest count per service provider. And we can say to them, here's your bottom 50 that have only been in once this year, can we try to create a relationship with them somewhere else in the salon? And we can say, my time is fully committed with these guests. You're not as regular of a guest. You're important to the salon, but you don't need me as your service provider as often. I'd like to suggest Ethel taking care of your services, but we're going to tell them we are going to move people over with discipline and purpose. Now, watch this. If someone doesn't have a high rescheduling rate, they're going to be irritated because they're going to say, hey, I have some openings. Hey, that's on you. You have enough guests to be fully committed, and you've taught them how to call at the last minute, get a squeeze in. You've trained them that they don't need an appointment. And really, a lot of salons are using the words by appointment only.
Yeah.
By appointment only versus walk-ins welcome. They're kind of removing that from their dialogue and turning it to Ethel's Salon by appointment only.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. You're helping be part of the rescheduling commitment.
It's outstanding. I love that so much. And I have been seeing that a lot more as well too. And I love the fact that you said discipline and purpose through that process. And so kind of talk to those salon leaders. What else do you think is missing? I love your enhancement idea, the service, the systems, the people, the technical, facility, safety, and then of course, marketing, the social, what are your noise? What else do you see that salon, when it comes to leadership, that salon owners and salon leaders are missing right now in order to stay relevant and to also grow and scale their business?
Well, I think when some of them moved to be 6 feet apart, they stretched out their days of operation so less people would be in the salon. And in order to accomplish that, they took a big hit with their energy.
Yes.
So when you take a look at the energy of a business, I mean, if you say to a staff, what's your favorite day to work here? When we're all here, it's a great day.
Yep.
Okay, then create that every day. Why do you have Monday 2 people, Wednesday 2 people there, and then we're all there Saturday? You know what? Take a look at your schedule. You close on Sunday and Monday. You have a reason and you have a commitment to what Sunday and Monday becomes. You don't open till noon on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These are the hours I recommend for salons. 12 to 8, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 4 on Friday, and 8 to 4 on Saturday. Now, let me tell you my reasoning behind this. That's a 40-hour work week. I can get things done. I could have a staff meeting every Wednesday before we open. I could do one-on-ones every Thursday morning and schedule those out throughout the whole year. And everyone knows my one-on-one is April 26th at 11 o'clock. I can do Tuesday mornings in salon education if I want, or any one-on-one things I have to do. It allows me to really maximize my time in the business too. Now, watch what happens here. When you say to someone, when are your staff meetings? Oh, we have a hard time. We all can't. All right. I just eliminated that. When are you going to do one-on-ones? Well, it's really hard. And Monday's my payroll day. And I don't, your staff can't bank on your leadership. Your staff can't bank on their team celebrations. Their staff can't bank on when you're doing in-salon education. They feel like everything's last minute. They still think that we don't communicate enough. Create a schedule that helps you communicate easily with your staff. So you're all on the same page. When we went to these schedules that some people don't even see each other. So we bring it back and say, how do we create that kind of presence and energy that we're looking for? And that in itself will make a huge difference to the community.
Love that idea of scheduling. And you and your counterpart Steve are notorious for today's performance is tomorrow's traffic.
Absolutely.
Will you just talk a little bit about that?
Oh gosh, yes. You know, everything we do today either invites the guest to return, or it says, we don't have room for you here, and we're awkward, right? I was in a salon on Saturday, Vietnamese salon. That's where I get my nails done. They do 300 guests a day, 2,100 guests a week.
Whoa.
Wow.
And every time I'm in, the owner comes over and sits with me and we just chat about things. And he said after COVID, it's not that people didn't want to work. He said, I didn't have a problem with people not wanting to work, but during COVID, because Illinois was hit so hard with negativity, a lot of his employees moved. He said, I didn't lose them because they didn't want to work. I lost them because they didn't want to live here anymore. And he said, I had to really decide, how am I going to create a new fit and get people trained at a faster rate to come in. Now, every one of his employees works 6 days a week, non-negotiable. They all work 6 days a week. And you do the math, it's a $3 million business plus, right? And are they making great money? Sure they are. And he's keeping them happy. But his job is to create the traffic. His job is to create the systems. And I said, what's your code of conduct here? What's your code of conduct? How do we carry ourselves in the salon? How are we good to each other? And I remember one time I went in and he didn't have any floor maids out. I'm going to call them floor maids. What else can we call them? I'm forgetting the word. But someone that's just in charge of the sanitation and how we look at all time, and cleanliness, and sanitizing all the stations, and sanitizing all the pedicure bowls. But anyway, hired 3 people. That's all they do.
Wow.
And I said, Tommy, you can afford it. Why aren't you doing it? It'll make your boat go faster. And we talked through it. And I said, because do you want your staff producing results, or do you want them doing the labor behind the scenes? And he said, sometimes I need both. And I said, sometimes you can give them that gift of doing the extras. And so, yeah, there's 3 people moving about that business at all times.
Yeah, that's so good. And let's kind of switch gears here, because I think one of the biggest challenges that we keep hearing, Sean and I, those darn sweets, they're taking all my stylists. And so what do you think what are we missing in our leadership? If I were to add one enhancement to people, I would say leadership enhancements. And so what do you think needs to happen in order for us not to lose our stylists to salon suites, if you will? What's missing?
If you go back to, they're very naive, thinking it's going to be an easier way for them. And we all know they don't get 100% of anything, right? And all the stuff that's provided for them, I think leaders forget to say what they do.
Okay, that's good.
They forget to say what we do so you can service your guest with ease. That's huge. We had a development day at PSC on Friday. We took our entire team out on Lake Michigan, and we had we did work here in the morning, and then we went out and did a lunch cruise and came back. But one of the things that we did in the morning is we went back to our 20 basics on how we carry ourselves here. What are the 20 basics that we do? And Steve brought every department up on stage, one person from every department, and said, what do you do that makes the boat go faster for the rest of the team?
Wow.
So you had customer service there, you had shipping and receiving, you had the education department, you had the sales group, you had IT represented, you had finance represented, and all of these people, Steve, when he first started the company in 1983, did all those jobs.
Right.
Every one of them. Now today, we have people helping us make the boat go faster. So our crew's gotten bigger. And one of the things that we do on the inside is we look at ourselves as a group of soldiers to support the efforts of our salespeople out on the front line. You know, when you think about all these systems, whether it's our inventory, our education calendar, our schedule, our social media, our sanitation commitment, all of that becomes a group of soldiers that helps this business go forward. And many times, if I had to say, lack of structure that the leader doesn't have in place, and the leader doesn't tell them what they absolutely do for them. And some leaders make it look easy,
Yeah.
right? And so the person's like, I can do that. I mean,
Yeah,
what's the big-
exactly.
I can do that and get 100%. I can do that. I can order a bottle of shampoo. And then they forget to pay their taxes, or they forget to pay their insurance. They
Mhm.
forget to order their inventory. They're doing just in time everything. And I said to the group this morning, I said, you know what? You have to be certain as an independent person that you can trust yourself as your leader.
Ooh.
Can you trust yourself? Are you a good enough leader to manage just you? Just you. And most of the time, we either have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Yeah.
Those two things. The pain of discipline is, yes, I'm going to do my inventory every Monday. I'm going to schedule my social media posts. I'm going to do my sanitation schedule. No, a hairdresser is just doing hair. So they don't have the pain of discipline, but boy, they have the pain of regret. And they know, oh, I didn't get to the store. I didn't place my order, or I didn't do my thank you notes to my new customers, or I didn't create any service promotions this month, or I didn't do anything to partner with the manufacturer. Pain of regret. And most people left on their own. I mean, let me give you a good example. I'm pretty good at structure and creating systems and stuff, but I suck at a diet. I hear the word diet and I think Oreo immediately, right? Can I have Oreos today? I don't know why. I haven't had an Oreo in 3 months, but if you say the word diet, I want an Oreo. So it's the
Mhm.
same thing for independence, is they start negotiating off of what's important, because they only think the only thing important is doing hair. And
Right.
there's so much more to the business than that. So
Yeah,
leaders
that's
leaders
great.
don't teach them the structure and the disciplines necessary to be an owner. Any of you want to be an owner? Yes, let's have potential owner roundtable tonight so you can know everything I have to do.
Absolutely. I think that's so huge, and really educating. This is exactly what we're giving you and what we're doing in this company. And so one of the shifts that we made in our companies is we don't hire employees, we hire future partners. And so
Exactly.
that gives us the ability to give them an incredible career path of not only active income, but also passive income. And so
Mhm.
kind of talking through that structure. And so what do you think is missing in the salon world as we start to close this out, which I'm sad. I wish I had you for 8 hours right now, because this is so good. Probably one of the best podcasts we've ever done. And what do you think else is missing as far as really training salon owners to help them to set up a really strong career path for their stylists?
Well, I think Steve and I like to do a level system, and the level system's all based on performances. The level system based on the menu of what I have to offer, and what's my average service ticket, my take-home ticket, my rescheduling percentage, how many new guests I brought in based on my reputation, what is the pace in which I'm serving, how many services am I doing, and am I able to do this menu? Here's an example I'll give to you. I wouldn't move someone up a level if they are disqualifying themselves to do a service. Like someone says, hey, I don't want to do updos. Okay, you're not going up a level,
Yeah.
right? You have to be able to offer this in your repertoire. The amount of people that say, I don't want to do extensions. Since when does a professional have the right to say what they will and won't do, right? It's your customer wants you to be absolutely skilled and knowledgeable on what's available to them. And if you're not comfortable with extensions, you're not going to talk about them. And that might be the big thing that I need to be absolutely committed to this salon. The career path should tell a good story, and a career path, usually it takes 1 year or 2 years to move up a level, and make sure those career paths are worth wanting to achieve. For example, a $2 or $3 difference between level 1 and level 2 for a haircut, they can make that up in a gratuity. I would really do $5 and probably $10 jumps. So when I move up from level 1 to level 2, that's a $10 jump for me in my cuts. And I would never increase the percentage of commission. Never, never. Lock the commission in and let the pay structure. So who's paying for the career path? The customer.
I love it.
We're not going to take profit off the bottom line. Yeah, the guest is paying for it. And so if I'm at entry level, maybe my rising stars are $30 a haircut. I get to level 1 where I'm on my own, taking guests 40, 50, 60, 70. The owner should always be at the high end of the scale. We believe that you can also be tiered in your color and cutting prices, and it should say 40 and up. And the salon needs to be able to say with ease, once again, watch me, I'm saying with ease, so a guest can go through your system easily. So why do you have levels in the salon? We are thrilled that our salon owner has a career path in place. She believes in lifelong relationships with her staff and her community. Based on our advanced education, our overall performance, our guest satisfaction, and team reputation, we earn our increases. So you have a speech, whatever that is for you, this is why we earn it.
I love it. And to kind of,
I never once said longevity, never once.
we have a question from Rob that we'll wrap up with. He said, what are your thoughts or feelings in regards to adding human skills to every training module?
Human skills, meaning,
Like leadership, maybe leadership skills, emotional intelligence, maybe social.
well, I think it's huge. Let me preface it with another example. When I was growing up, our family didn't have any money. So we had to sell raffles in our neighborhood for the softball team. We went door to door. Hello, hello, hello. And probably 5 other kids went to the same door. Now, and there was a method to the madness. It wasn't just about the softball team. It was about creating confidence. Some parents are so mad their kids aren't confident, but when they had an opportunity to gain confidence, they wrote a check. Right? I'll just write a check so you don't have to go door to door, Susie.
Yeah.
And they missed it, right? They missed a golden opportunity to create confidence for their children. They never had their children extend their hand. You know, in my house, in a restaurant, if you don't look at the server and use manners and order, you don't eat. I'm not ordering for you. You learn how to eat, and that creates confidence going into a restaurant or being out there. So when you say human development, I think you're talking about confidence skills, about how to carry yourself, having presence. Absolutely. Put those in every single module and you tell the people this is what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's almost like a every single week thing in your trainings too.
Absolutely.
There's always something missing. And I think that's everything. I think our focus has been too much on technical and not enough on the human experience. So what he said was perfect.
The last thing that I want to say is, you know, there's so many people that ask me, how did I get where I am today? Because my list back then was whether it was I was going to cheer for 12 years, whether it was I was going to be in the musicals, I was going to be a voice major. I decided what I wanted to be, right? And I wasn't a natural in any of it. I really had to work hard. And someone said a question to me, do you think that, because I did 1,000 jumps, you guys have heard that story. I did 1,000 jumps a day, every day, and to develop my memory and muscle memory in my legs, because we weren't tumblers back then, we were jumpers. And someone said, do you think you'd cheer today in this world? And I said, you know, my biggest fear is I never had to compete against a phone when I was doing 1,000 jumps a day.
Yeah.
It was just me. After school in the front yard, in the breezeway, in the hallway at my home, and I was working on me. The trouble I see today is because of the distractions of social media and the stupid things you can do when you're by yourself, you're
Mhm.
not working on you anymore. You're watching other people's lives and you're passing up opportunities on your own. So I don't know if I'd be where I am today in the world if I had to compete against a phone from my time years ago.
Perfectly said. Terri, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you to be able to be a part of some of the programs that you guys are offering?
Well, first thing I would do is go to Terri and Steve Cowan.com
Mhm.
and you'll see our presence on online. We also have Facebook, Instagram. Did I say it right? I'm being coached as we go. So Terri and it's Terri and 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 Steve STEVE Cowan COWAN.com
Mhm.
and go follow them. Yeah, go follow them. Go follow us. Okay.
We will. We
And
love you.
you
We
can
love
leave
you so
messages
much.
there, or anything. You can do it.
Yes, and I know
Awesome.
people are going to definitely want to follow you and be a part of everything that you're doing. And Terri, you're one of our most favorite people in the whole
Oh,
world. Besides
I
your
know you.
husband too. He is too. Steve is one of our favorite, but you might
I
be
know
our
you'd say
favorite.
that to everyone, but I'm going to act like you only said it to me.
No, it's not even true. We don't. I mean, everybody can attest to that. But one last piece of advice that you've been dying to tell future professionals in the industry, students out there that are getting ready to graduate, what would you want to tell them right now that they need to know, Terri?
First of all, you should have a list of the 5 salons that you will trust with your education. 5 salons. And of those 5 salons, have you made contact with them? Have you told them that they're on your list? Have you asked for a shadow day? Have you asked to just go in and sit in their lobby? Have you gotten a service done? Why did they make the list? You know, Tina, I was with the students last Wednesday and only 2 people have signed on with salons.
Mhm.
And the other, I don't know what they're waiting for. And you've got salon owners that don't have time to recruit with
Right.
future professionals that are afraid to look for a job. How are we going to bridge the gap between those two? So just create the list, start creating, and then say, of that list, what is the radius I'm willing to travel? What do I want their menu to look like? What's their dress code? Why did they make my list? And if you can't be specific, they're probably not one you should go after. But everyone wants to be on the list, and you need to create a list and help people understand what you're shooting for.
Great advice.
Love
Thank
it.
you, Terri. We appreciate you so much.
I'm going to see you in a couple weeks, or October. It'll be a couple weeks, right?
We will see you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Thank you,
having me,
Terri.
guys. Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.